Hey guys, my name is FunParo. Today I want to continue talking about the patch 12.10 durability changes. Last time, I reviewed the changes regarding Void Staff and compared it to Shadow Flame, and then determined what item is better and when. Check that video out if you haven't seen it already. I will leave the link in the description. But going back to the theme of patch 12.10, all champions are getting tankier. In addition, armor pen items are getting nerfed. We need proper itemization to try to combat these durability changes. So in this video, I want to compare the nerfed Lord Dominik's Regards and Collector. So let's get right into it. So LDR is having its armor pen value reduced from 35% to 30%, and Collector is being unchanged. So what I did was I did a damage comparison using a level 9 Lucian who has an Eclipse and either Collector or LDR. So I created 3 cases. One case is when fighting against squishies, another case is bruisers, and the last case is against tanks. All champions will have their HP increased. This includes base HP and HP per level. So on LDR's Giant Slayer passive, it is bonus damage based on percent max HP damage. The thing to note is that if you apply different values for the percent HP difference to the equality I'm about to provide you, you can change the values that I used. You can also change the values to match champions that you're interested in. So learning about the difference between armor pen and flat pen armor pen is important to determine what thresholds are needed for you to do more damage. The inequality that I set up using Eclipse LDR versus Eclipse Collector on a level 9 Lucian was 100 over 100 plus 0.672 minus 14.4, and all of that times the damage, which was 30 plus 81.55 plus 55. So remember that percent armor pen stacks multiplicatively, and that lethality is flat armor pen after you calculate the flat armor pen value from lethality. And this all represents the LDR side, and it'll be set greater than 100 over 100 plus x minus 24 times 55 plus 81.55 plus 55. The 14.4 is the flat armor pen value from lethality level 9, and then that was added to 9.6, which is the lethality value from Collector. Now, this comparison is all being done on a non-crit auto attack produced by a level 9 Lucian. Also, another thing to consider is that I am not implementing any factors from runes. This is solely based on base stats. Now, when I set this inequality, I was not considering the Giant Slayer passive for the squishy case because the HP would be less, or you wouldn't even be able to apply the HP difference if you're fighting certain squishies. So, in this case, the enemy must have at least 98.84 armor for LDR to do more damage than Collector. And this makes sense because the person you are targeting is a squishy with very little armor and lower HP values. Lethality will get higher value against these types of champions. Remember that as armor increases, lethality's value will decrease, and percent armor pen value will increase. So now moving on to the bruiser case, we just multiply 1.06 to represent the max HP difference between the Lucian and a hypothetical bruiser. And the enemy champion now must have at least 62.30 armor for LDR to do more damage than Collector. Now I'm going to do a tank case where we utilize 1.15 on the Giant Slayer passive, and we would plug this value into the inequality, and then we would get that the enemy must have at least 29.30 armor for LDR to do more damage. Now, just looking at this, it's kind of obvious that LDR is better in almost every case when you're doing the tank case. And this all makes sense because, one, the tank's HP values will be a lot larger than the Lucian's HP by a relatively large margin. In addition, tanks can stack resistances, such as armor, and as armor increases, lethality will get less value, and percent armor pen will get more value. You may be wondering, what about the execute passive on Collector? So, the execute passive will get more value now than it did previously because everyone's getting tankier, HP values are increasing, and therefore the threshold needed to execute someone will also increase. However, getting to that execute threshold will also be a lot harder because champions are now a lot tankier, and you need the damage to get to that point. So this is where the argument of LDR and Collector comes in, is that we need to get to do the most damage as we can. And sure, there's an execute at this threshold, but what if we just never get there because we can't dish enough damage to achieve that threshold? So the meta, we have to think about the meta here. What we have to do is think about the meta. And going off these changes, the meta is most likely going to favor tanks, certain bruisers, and a couple squishier champions. Champions that can also stack resistances, stack HP, and all these champions would be getting more value because of these changes. And this would mean that getting LDR would have more value in most of these cases, but also consider the game that you're in. I mean, there could be a game where you have 5 squishies and Collector would probably actually be better because no one's buying armor, there is no Mountain Dragon in the game, and armor values are low enough for LDR to not do as much damage as Collector. Now, all you have to do is just look at the enemy, click on their champion, and see what armor values they're at. And remember that HP will increase as the game goes on, as well as armor. So, LDR will get more value as the game goes on, but also don't forget about the presence of Mountain Dragons. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below what you would like to see next. Remember to join the FunPro Discord server to talk about other videos that I could potentially make, or just talk about League in general. I would also like to thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.